Hey, it's Kristen Wright here, creatrix of the Sex Love Revolution, and you are tuning in to our final video on the series to feeling confident in your naked body in and out of the bedroom. I'm so glad you're here today because we are talking about pleasure in the bedroom and how tuning into pleasure, sourcing your pleasure, expanding your pleasure is a tool to transforming the way you feel about your body and supporting you to show up fully confident in your nakedness and all your glory. Sounds great, right? It is. So what I want you to do, so often we are in our heads in the bedroom and not in our bodies. So if this is you, if you find that you are in your head a lot, I want you to bring it back down into the body. And the way you're going to do that is through your pleasure, through sensation. So anytime you're up here in your head, anytime you go to think like, I wonder what my partner is thinking about my body, or oh my God, this position is insane. It really makes my stomach look X, Y, and Z. I want you to stop and do what we've already talked about before, like think about the lens of reality, but also come into your body. Like, who even cares about the lens of reality in that moment, to be honest? Let's feel pleasure. Let's tune into sensation and follow that thread and expand that thread. Because if I'm being honest, the more you feel like these orgasmic waves of pleasure in the body, the less you give any shits about what your body looks like. It's almost like this primal instinct takes over, and instead of like worrying about your body, you're like, how can I find myself some more pleasure? Because this feels so good, who cares about anything else? Literally. So if you're in your head, come back to what you're feeling in your pussy. So take a nice deep breath all the way down into your pussy. How does it feel? What sensation is there? Even if what sensation is there is numbness, I want you to hook onto that sensation with your breath and keep breathing and feeling that sensation. You know, how can you expand that sensation with your breath, with your movement, with your sound? So breathing into that sensation, expanding it with your breath through your exhalation. So as you exhale, imagining that sensation growing within your body with each exhalation. Then, if that is not working, is working, you can work and focus on movement. So finding that sensation. And how can you move? Like, what position would really encourage the expansion of sensation? If you moved your hips, would that help? Like, really get curious, you know, how could you move in a different way that would expand that sensation? It's really specific to each person. And this is why I find dancing with yourself so important, especially when you're out of your head and in your body and moving with what feels good, because you're exploring the ways that feel good in your body versus, you know, how we all get stuck dancing in a certain way that we've seen, you know, others do or on TV. It's like the same in the bedroom. We all move sort of in a way that we've been conditioned through pornography or what we've seen in the movies. So really getting curious with your own pleasure, how could you expand that through your own movement? And another way to explore the movement is when you're self-pleasuring. So I find a lot of women, including myself, sort of self-pleasure in this disconnected way and never even think to move our bodies. So if you have a self-pleasure practice, how can you move your hips a little bit more when you're self-pleasuring? Or, you know, if you're someone who always self-pleasures on your back, roll onto your tummy or get on all fours and that kind of thing and explore pleasure and sensation from a different angle. And now your sound, hooking onto that sensation with your breath and then giving the sensation a voice and sounding from that authentic voice versus what you've been heard or conditioned to, what you've heard through the conditioning to sound like. So using your own authentic voice. But like I've said, as you start to explore your pleasure and your sensation and really make that your focus rather than being up here in your head, the more this facade of body image melts away as the primal instinct for more pleasure takes over. And I really hope that when you start to, hook on to these sensations, that you come more into your body and sort of source that love too from what you're feeling. Like, there's so much orgasmic pleasure that's available to you that you probably haven't even tapped into. It's like how we only use a certain percentage of our brains. I think we're only using a certain percentage of our pussies. So start to explore that more and let pleasure be your focus. And anytime you start to feel a lack of confidence in your body, source sensation. There's also nothing sexier or more delightful on the eyes than a woman completely sourced in her pleasure. So if you're someone who feels insecure in the bedroom in general, source from your pleasure. It's a huge turn on. And I hope that you follow those threads. That is the final laser tool to feeling confident in your naked body. Of course, this is a greater conversation and something I hope to offer in the future. But for now, I really want you to focus on these 4 laser tools of being friends with the haters in your head, taking off the lens that you're viewing your body with, starting to source into self-love with your body, making friends with your body, and then sourcing your pleasure, coming home to your pleasure and really following your pleasure and sensation and seeing where it takes you. So this has been a real joy to share with you, and I truly wish you all the best on the journey to feeling confident in your naked body. And I would love to know how this series has helped or served you, and I'm always open to tips and feedback. So please hit reply, drop me some comments, and let me know how it goes for you. Much love.